Often when we do have our finals here, when we do have our events like Copa Giants Cup, it's a mixture of Erik and MasTeR and Inexorable. I mentioned earlier that Kamikaze has been breaking that mold a little bit as of late. That is true. Likewise, you have other top players like Dorminoko, for example. Sometimes Shakti shows up, sometimes. But here we go. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the the Brazilian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own, papi. Uno de los patitos. It is Erik. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself, the Brazilian Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Here we go. Here we go. So you do have not pull first. Oh my god, okay. So again, these two players, they play so often against each other when it comes to Brazilian tournaments. Erik and MasTeR, they are expected to face off. I will say though, if you remember, there was a crazy upset last year. There was a crazy upset where last year we had MasTeR failing to qualify for the Brazilian SC2 circuit, El Circuito Brasileiro. He did fail to do so. He was actually knocked out and cheesed out by Kamikaze. Kamikaze did cheese MasTeR out of the tournament, and he failed to make it to the top 4 to the playoffs, which was crazy, by the way. Like, he was even favored to win the entire tournament. But MasTeR did not make it through. If you remember, it was just non-stop one-base all-ins. Like, Kamikaze just had non-stop all-ins and cheesed the hell out of MasTeR. But here we go. Here we go. We're settling into our fresh best of 5. We do have our hatchery block here across the map. Does go for the block. This should be denied. And back at home, Erik is expanding. Did go for the earlier pool timing. That is true. So hatchery was delayed by a couple of seconds. Does force out the Zealot. It is going to be a 2-gate response here by MasTeR. And how does this work? Well, with 2 gateways, he's going to have 2 Zealots. The Cybercore will finish. He'll have 2 more Adepts, and he'll be able to counterattack with 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts across the map. And it'll be a shaky defense for Erik. We'll see if he can hold. Ooh, there's a cancel. Throws down the Evo. Lings are waddling in. Remember that second Zealot is already out. And MasTeR can now expand. He can now expand, but more importantly, he can counterattack. Oh, as the drone does fall. We're massing up those Adepts. Back at home, due to the opener, bearing in mind that the queen count is going to be very low. Lower queen count. Delay link speed. And Erik, instead of droning, he's forced to make Zerglings. He has to. He has to make those Zerglings. Here come the Adepts. It's going to be on Erik to try to shut this down. Este Krolpolski. Ah, dzień dobry, papi, dzień dobry. Siema, papi, siema. Hope you're doing well. I know it's quite late in Polonia, so take care. Zealot has arrived. Lings a will commit with around there. Nice catch. Zealots are here to support, and they hold their own. Yeah, Lings are being shut down. They do snipe 1 Adept. They barely get. Oh, they barely don't get the other. Oh, barely do. It's close. Both Adepts go down, and Erik, he somewhat holds. It was a messy fight, though. A very messy fight. More Lings are on the way. Again, still a very low drone count for Erik. Very low. Yeah, but that was perfect Polish, honestly. Yo, I've got like my 3 words down. That's all I got, papi. That's all I got. That's all I got. I got my Shema. I got my Dziękuję. I got my Dzień dobry. That's it. I'm all tapped out. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. For now, though, for now we do have Erik poking into the main. Scout does confirm the Stargate opener. MasTeR moves out with his Oracle. And it does move out, does try to maintain his 3rd base. And we'll see if Erik can drone up. Again, bearing in mind that Erik has had a very shaky early game here in honestly, I don't feel like it's been quite worth it. Look at the drone count here. He's still down in workers, still down in saturation. Due to all the adepts, sorry, due to all the links he was forced to make due to the adept harass. And we'll see if Erik can recover. As the oracles are poking in. Queens are in position. Nope. Gonna be zoning away. The Oracle is going to be zoned. Behind this, we have an earlier Twilight Council. This feels like Glaive Adepts. Glaive Adepts honestly would work quite well, but oh, never mind. We have the Forge on the way as well. Curious. This could be +1 in charge. It could be +1 in blink, but now a lower chance it's going to be Glaives. The Overlord does actually get some vision here and does confirm. Does get eyes on the production. So Erik is aware. Overlord is going to be hunted down. Lings, they can't quite engage. And late reaction there by Erik. And as all these gases are taken, it feels like either Ling Hydra or Ling Muta. Is it going to be the Spire? Is it going to be the Hydra Den? It's going to be one or the other. There's no Bailey Nest. There's no Roach Warren. That is a lot of gas. What's it going to be? As the gas is banking up. Meanwhile, it is going to be +1 in charge from MasTeR, so there's going to be a charge timing available to him where he can move out. And it is going to be Ling Hydra. Okay, so Ling Hydra out of Erik. Without any Banelings, he's going to be in trouble. Like, these early charge timings can overwhelm Ling Hydra quite nicely, especially with Archon support. So Erik's in danger. Erik, he is in danger. MasTeR's building up his forces, waiting for his upgrades. Erik is going to have a very fragile army. Again, that's the issue with Ling Hydra, is it is a glass cannon. It's made out of paper, but... Here come the Archons. Now we're waiting for Zealot reinforcements. So we have the Archon drop. Oh, never mind. We're going for Storm. So it looks like MasTeR is only harassing with the Archons and Oracles. He's not pushing with Zealots. So very light harassment here from MasTeR. I do think that he could have committed and found success here. Like, imagine if we could warp in like a wave of, yeah, like 2 waves of Zealots here. And Zealots are trickling in. Yeah, reinforcements are staggered. Getting us up with the Archons, not bad. It gets 1. Yeah, it gets 1. Gets a Prism. Prism tries to pull away. Saves one of the Archons, and a blundered assault here from MasTeR. Again, if he had his Zealot warp-ins, if he had his reinforcements, I do feel like he could have broken that position. But that was a very messy engagement from the Protoss. And Erik holds. He holds, he counterattacks. We have a Spire on the way behind this. Bold move. Going for mutas. It's very gas intensive. Is because of the opener. MasTeR, what did he do? He opened up his charge. Remember, he opened up with Zealot legs. There's no blink. So no blink stalkers here. And at the same time, no scouting either. We can see a very defensive position. Cannon, shield battery, stasis trap. There's no vision across the map. Doesn't scout what's coming his way. And you can see that MasTeR is turtling up as hard as he can. If he had seen what's coming his way, then we can start Phoenix production, right? Phoenixes, blink. Well, there's no reaction currently. Of course, the Archons have to be respected. But the mutas, they make their way into the natural. And they make their way in. And probes are falling. And MasTeR caught with his pants down. He's all in. Yeah. This is a correct reaction. It's a correct reaction. He's just going all in. He's going for the counterattack. He cannot defend back at home. This is critical damage. It would be a mistake to turn around. He's got to just send it. And remember, because of these Archons, mutas can't quite engage. There's a lot of Archons and Storm as well. So MasTeR is all in. We have Ling Hydra to defend. Oh, the Archons are exposed. Oh no. Yeah, there are not enough Zealots. Yeah, Zealots are trickling in. Storm does zone away. Oof. Massive Storm on the Hydras. Gets into the mineral line. But the Mutas turn around. Yeah, Mutas, they turn around. They're racing back home. This army has no War Prism, has no reinforcements. We're rallying across the map. Okay, decent amount of Stalkers. Okay. MasTeR has to bring everything together. Another Storm. Mutas are still coming back. The Archons are low. One Archon left, only one. And Mutas, they clean up. They clean up the Archons. They shut down High Templar as well. GG gets called, and Erik takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. A very messy early game for Erik. As I said before, MasTeR was ahead. MasTeR, he was in a better position. He was building up in towards his Archon and charge timing, but he didn't hit it. Remember, he moved out with his Archons, but his Zealot Warpins were very late. Very delayed, so he didn't reinforce his army. I do believe that he could have even killed the 4th expansion if he had Warpins available, but it was very messy. He was warping in like one Zealot at a time. Like, he had a bunch of minerals in the bank. Like, he couldn't quite push in. He got shut down, and of course the Spire was unscouted. Unscouted Spire forced into the all-in. GG. GG, well played. Erik does take the first game, does take a lead in the series, and now we're loading into game number 2. Let's go. Let's go. F's in the chat. Oh, did the stream go down? Wait, what? Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner here of Tourmaline, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings, leading the series 1-0. It is Erik. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Brazilian Protoss player, the red Protoss, representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. And down for like 10 seconds. Oh, no. Not like this. Hopefully everything's okay now. Yes, Chi-Chi, she hopped up and she unplugged the Ethernet cable and then hopped away. Oh. As workers that do pass by each other. Do pass by. This time we once again are going for the hatch block across the map. I will say that last game, I don't think it was quite worth it. Like, it was very messy early game, and in the end, Erik, he was still behind economically. Once again, comes in for the hatch block. But this time back at home, it's spawning pool. So hatch, gas pool, standard open out of Erik. Erik, he threatens the hatch block, but he does not commit. Does not commit. Gonna be zoned away. And this time we have a much more standard opener for both players. Welcome to Tourmaline. Tourmaline has a very short rush distance by ground, so if you wanted to go for a ground-based all-in, then it would make sense on this map. So eyes are going to be on Erik. As the drone does move in. And we're catching up. Here we're catching up. Likewise, pulling away. It is going to be our Stargate open out of MasTeR. Again, just standard play here. Stargate into his third. Meanwhile, Erik going for a delayed hatchery in the main. What is going on? Okay. Does go for the proxy hatch in MasTeR's face. This ideally would prompt the Adept to stay at home, but no, Adept does still move out. Does still move out across the map. Link speed is on the way. Pulling out of gas, somewhat. Still 2 in gas, though. And some decent gas income. We'll see what it's going to be for. Typically, you either pull out completely or you leave 1 in gas. To leave 2 in gas is very intentional. Very intentional. This might be for a faster lair. Or for a roach-based all-in. And we're leaning towards faster lair. I feel like if it was roaches, it'd be a roach horn already. As lings are amassing. Again, the hatchery is buying time. It's distracting the army. We're forcing out batteries in the main. And Erik is droning. Is he going to cancel? He's forcing a reaction. That is true. Erik, he delayed his own third base for this. He lets it finish. Okay. Okay. I'm dying. I'm trying to, in my mind, I'm like, is this worth it? This will die. And behind this, he's saturating. I mean, again, at least he's forcing warp-ins back at home. Like, he is forcing a reaction. But his third base is so late because of this. It's a very late third for Erik. Yeah, Lings are on the way. It is going to be Roaches. Roaches alongside a lair. As Lings, they make their way to the mineral line. They head for the natural. Oh, there's a battery. Yeah, battery will defend. And MasTeR's fine. Like, he's perfectly fine here. And it is going to be the all-in. So Pneumatized Carapace is on the way. This is never research unless you're going for a German taxi. A German taxi is when you load up a bunch of Drupal Lords, Queens, Roaches across the map. It is going to be a 2-base all-in. But again, it's a very wonky game. It's very, very wonky. Very shaky. Now, because of the hatchery and because of these Lings as well, MasTeR doesn't scout. So he has no idea what's going on. But I don't know if it matters, right? Like, MasTeR, he... I mean, his Twilight Council's late. True. So there is a silver lining here. Because of the hatchery and because of the pressure and because of the unorthodox nature of this game, the tech is... The gateways, the tech is late. Like, this is a messy response. A messy build here from MasTeR. So his build was disrupted. And here comes the all-in from Erik. He did force inefficiencies out of MasTeR. Still takes some hull damage. The drop bullets are coming in. MasTeR with 3 oracles. Can he hold on though? It's a lot of oracles. We have to transfuse. Oh no! Does miss transfuse. Hopping up. Hold micro. Saves the queen. Very clutch control there by Erik. There's the energy overcharge. 1 queen goes down. There's 2 queens left. 2 queens remaining. Lings, they bust into the third. Means they get dropped off. And the Oracle taking a lot of damage. 1 Oracle should go down. Ooh, barely gets away. And Erik, he's getting damage done. He will kill the third at least, but he needs more than this. Oh, that's around! No, he gets the Stalkers. No blink. Gets 1. Oh my god. 1 sword gets surrounded. Nice pickup. Yeah, very nice pickup here. Ideally, he wants to do that again. He wants to bait the army out. Third base is full. We're going for the Master Spire behind this. Of course we are. God damn it. Nice files. Nice control. And Erik is droning. Erik behind this, he should be droning, should be saturating. Still making more Lings are dropping into the main. It's crazy. Does try to find some damage. Spreading creep at the third, denying the third base. Nice moves out of Erik. Saving those queens. And MasTeR is stuck on 2 bases. He's stuck on 2 expansions. Now, the Muta play isn't going to be as effective as last time just because there's plenty of anti-air. There are plenty of Blink Stalkers. But Mutas can contain at least. I'd imagine that's the goal, is to just contain the Protoss while Erik takes the 4th base, probes up. As MasTeR can't quite break out. And where are those Mutas? Gets a Cyber Core. And here we are, 6 Mutas now on the way. The Mutas are coming. Takes down the Gateway, takes down the Cyber Core. MasTeR's being forced into a 2-base all-in. He still has a massive army though. The scary thing is that MasTeR's built up his Stalkers. He's got a very high Stalker count. He blinks in, catching out all the queens. Chasing down the Ravagers as well. Oof. He does chase him down, and Erik is in trouble. Again, the mutas, they will not help defensively. Like, they're they're built to harass and not built to fight. Onto the mutas. Catching at one. Yeah, one muta goes down. MasTeR should be feeling good about this. He commits across the map. And the mutas are not worth it. The mutas, this was so much money, so many resources here in these mutas. It was so expensive. And just MasTeR is going to overwhelm. Yeah, the MasTeR is just too much. That's all we need, just Mass Blink Stalker. And Erik cannot engage. The roaches are trickling in. These are 0-0 roaches. No roach speed. Collapsing on the army. Again, mutas, they can't touch this. They can't engage with the stalkers. Not like this. Again, it was some fancy moves out of Erik. It was impressive. But in the end, we just 2-base all in. We just MasTeR just breaks out on 2 bases, builds up his stalkers. The boys are being pulled. Stasis trap going up. We have a decent amount of roaches, but this is critical damage here. 22 drones going down. And the roaches are being cleaned up. They cannot hold their own. Not like this. I say that's still a very close fight, but MasTeR has an economy. And MasTeR, he still comes out on top here. Up the roaches. More reinforcements have arrived. Erik, he will barely hold, but here comes the next wave. Oh gosh, there are so many stalkers coming. Here comes the second wave, and we have a series. We have a back and forth. As MasTeR moves in, GG gets called, and MasTeR ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played again. A very chaotic game here, and again, Erik, he was doing well for himself. He was able to break the third expansion, force overreactions as well, build up his third base, build up an economy, but going into the mutas was a rough call to make. It was a rough call to make. In the end, the mutas, they did nothing. They couldn't deal with the main push, and ideally the mutas, they can do harassing damage, but remember, MasTeR, he was already stuck on 2 bases. He was already contained, so what was the purpose of the mutas there? They couldn't really do anything. Couldn't really do anything there. In the end, a more roach-heavy follow-up would have been preferred, just to have some kind of standing army with Ravagers, with roach speed, with potentially even range upgrades as well. Instead, did gamble going into mutas, and that would have worked well if MasTeR was more passive and more defensive, but MasTeR just went for the 2-base all-in. He went for the push, went for the all-in, and GG, well played. With that, we're tied up 1-1, and we're getting into game number 3. Let's go. Going to be loading into 10,000 feet. Back everyone, welcome back to another edition here of the Code for Giants Cup, Code for Giants Cup number 29 and Code for Giants Cup LATAM number 6. I'm of course just live VIP with and joined by these amazing players and other people in chat as well. Welcome one and all to our catch-up stream on our Brazilian tournament here. Now, for those who are unaware, for those who weren't here earlier in the week, we were actually live casting, or we were casting and covering Code for Giants Cup. Code for Giants Cup is a bi-weekly tournament. Every fortnight we do have a Brazilian only event, but our internet died. If you recall, our internet did go down mid-broadcast, and as a result, we actually didn't get to finish the finals. We were halfway through. The finals. As you can see here before you, we were tied 1-1. Erik and MasTeR in a best of 5, they were tied up 1-1. They were tied up in their series, and we had yet to conclude to crown our champion. So the goal here is to catch up on those matches to be able to wrap up our finals for Code for Giants Cup number 29, and then jump into Code for Giants Cup LATAM number 6, which is the Latin American edition of the tournament. The regular edition is only for Brazilian players. The LATAM edition is opening up to the rest of Latino America. Oh boy. Oh boy. So again, that is a plan for today's broadcast. Hope you've all been enjoying yourselves. Last night, of course, we were live with the podcast, and it's been a very intense week of StarCraft with non-stop qualifiers, GSL qualifiers, RSL qualifiers. All the qualifiers have been taking place, and it's been quite intense. It's been quite intense, quite hectic, of course, here on the channel, and we are slowly catching up, right? We're catching up when it comes to all the other events that did fall by the wayside, like Code for Giants Cup, Pegasus Cups, Wardy TV Mondays, Kung Fu Cups, and of the like. We're getting there. We are getting there. This is StarCraft True. That's the other big one. But now, though, we're going to be jumping into our first game of the broadcast. Again, we're jumping in mid-series into Erik versus MasTeR. It's been a bit of a back and forth. We're jumping into game number 3 of this best of 5 grand finals match. Let's go. Let's go. Game 3 is going to be on 10,000 feet. True. Is going to be on 10,000 feet. Un momento. As we're jumping into this, big shout out to Jack Golf in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. As we are jumping into our series and spawning in the top left hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the Brazilian Zerg player himself. He's one of our own, by the way, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Erik. He's our boy, Pappy. Here's our boy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, the Brazilian Protoss, representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Here we go. Yes, fala galera. Obrigado, papi. Obrigado. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for subscribing. Hope you enjoy the content, the casting, and the StarCraft, papi. Hope you enjoy. Bearing in mind as well, some of the benefits that you do gain for being a subscriber outside of just the emotes in the Twitch chat is also you do gain access to replay packs if you want replay packs from events that we do cover, like the Tunic Cups, like the Pigster Cups, and other big major events we have permission to share with, like Kung Fu Cup, for example, Little League Cup, Rongi Cup. Then you can get those replays via our Discord server. So you can join our Discord. There is a sub only channel there, and then you can take part in said replays. Otherwise jumping in. Otherwise we are going to be jumping in. So far it is going to be an early gas. So early pool, early gas here from Erik. Hyper aggression out of our Zerg player. The drone does move out. We have seen a bunch of Zerg players go for the early mining here at the mineral wall to bust in towards the natural, but here we can see Erik with the drone outside of the natural base instead, looking to go for, I would imagine, a hatch block. So setting up for the hatchery. Link speed is on the way. Bearing in mind, MasTeR, he knows that, again, with the probe scout, he knows the hatchery is missing. He knows that we have the early spawning pool. You can see he throws down the forge and he sets up for the wall. Ooh, but the hatchery is going to be thrown down. Okay, throws down the hatchery. Now, this will increase surface area on these buildings. It also forces extra buildings out of MasTeR to fully wall off. And I love this out of MasTeR. He does start to wall off that mineral wall. Again, it is very common to go for some cheese, to pull the boys and to mine through these patches to bust into the bases. So MasTeR is already getting ready for that ahead of time. The first Zelda is already out, chipping away at the hatchery. Lings are in production for Erik. Lings are in production. Erik moves in. Does, of course, is where the forge is, where the cannons. Again, one of the reasons why you do want a forge response to this is because this early on as a Protoss player, you have very limited production. Very limited production here, so cannons do help immensely when it comes to this early game defense. And Erik is expanding. He's expanding, he's getting another hatchery, and Erik is droning up. Did invest into these links, that is true, so he will apply some pressure, and he's going to try to force a bigger reaction out of MasTeR, but Erik is transitioning. Okay, he is transitioning here. The hatchery is getting low. This should be cancelled. We should be seeing cancel here. Yep, the cannon does finish. There's a cancellation. Erik, he does get the refund. And Erik pulls away. He pulls away, getting a third expansion again. Erik, he's droning, he's saturating. Now, as dust settles, I do prefer MasTeR's position. MasTeR does have a better saturation. He's got 22 probes so far. When it comes to the natural base timing, Erik's is a little bit faster, that is true. And at least Erik did force this reaction, right? He forced out the pylon, the Stargate to be delayed. True, late Stargate, earlier forge, earlier cannon, later warp gate as well. So the build in general, the opener has been disrupted from MasTeR. Has been disrupted, but now we got some catching up to do. Now we got to drone. Now we got to drone up. Now we got to saturate. MasTeR for the most part is stuck at home at least until the Stargate finishes. So again, there's like an extended period of time here where MasTeR can't really do anything, can't really be active. Link speed is done, so 1 or 2 adepts moving out would be surrounded, and Erik can just saturate. Erik's Overlord is behind the main, making his way in. Ooh, Erik didn't see the pylon. He didn't see the pylon. He doesn't know where the Stargate is. He's going into the main base to scout the tech, but the tech is actually the natural. So, for all Erik knows, it could be a Twilight Council and Declave Adepts, for example. Could be Adepts. Could be Charge. Now going further in. And back at home, there's no Spore. And no Spore Crawlers. We have a couple of Queens getting in position that will help, but the Oracle's on the way. It does get scouted. Ooh, now he knows. And now he does know. Oracle has been seen. Erik, he has time to react. Spores are being thrown down. Yeah, Erik is still looking for the tech. We can see it's going to be Oracle into Void Ray. Very interesting. The Void Ray follow-up tells us that MasTeR might be looking to hide some tech. Looks like that may be the plan. As Erik is still droning. The Oracle is deflected. It is going to be an early Twilight Council out of MasTeR. I mean, say early Twilight Council in, like, compared to everything else that's been going on. Relatively early. Relative to the third base timing. And this looks like Glaives. So my money here is going to be on Glaive Depths. Otherwise, we have a massive gateway explosion, getting up to 5 gateways, 6 gates. Do we go for Glaives? Do we go for Charge? That's the other option here. Getting up to, oh my god, even more gateways, getting up to 7, and the answer is going to be Charge. Especially with this many gateways, we could not afford Mass Adept. So 7 gates, we're going for a Charge base all in. Gas here should only be for Charge for Zealot legs. I would assume, so something that's surprising me here, extra gas is being taken. I would assume that we would want to hit with +1, right? Make use of the Forge, get +1 and get Charge. But with extra gases being taken now, it does feel like we're working towards High Templar, like a Templar Archives into a couple of Archons, as you can morph them in after you morph in the High Templar. And it no longer feels like an all-in, just because we're taking gases. It's going to be hitting much later. So this is aggressive, but we'll be hitting a little bit later here. Lings, they check for saturation. 4th base on the way. Behind this, Erik is getting a safety Baneling Nest. Now, if he did not have a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren, I would be concerned, but he does have an answer to the Zealots. Not the cleanest response. It's still going to be a difficult hold here, but it can work. As you can see here, the Zealots are banking up. We're banking up those charge lots. +1 now has begun. And soon MasTeR will pull the trigger. And if Erik doesn't have Banelings ready, then this can kill. This can just straight up kill Erik. So we're working in even more Zealots. There's that Templar Archives for the Archons, for the High Templar. And here he comes. He gets spotted. Yeah, Erik, he does spot. Does confirm. Behind this, Banelings now morphing in. We need as many Banelings as possible. There we go. 8 Banelings on the way. We might need a little bit more than that. He ends up pushing forward. Charges are revealed. Ooh, catching up reinforcements. Bailey's now done. Stasis Trap doesn't get triggered. And Bailey's rolling in. Oh, they're clumping somewhat. Ooh, decent connections. But there's still another group. Yeah, there's still another group getting into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. Again, we did need more Banelings here. We did need that little bit more. As else, they get 5 drone kills. Now they're going further into the main base. They camp in the production. They can catch the Hydra. They can catch the Hydra. Boys are being pulled. And Erik, he will defend against this, but it does come at a cost. So he lost 6 drones. He bled out a lot of Lings and Banelings. MasTeR going for another run by. Back at home, MasTeR does take an economic lead. He's on full 3-base saturation. I cannot say the same for Erik. Erik, he lost workers, lost drones. Still has running to do. Getting ready for the Zealot run by. Erik, he should have enough of a standing army to deal with this. Yeah, even without Banelings, now he has Hydras. Does force a recall. Ooh, as 1 Zealot goes down. Just the 1. MasTeR recalls back home, and now he's ready with his Mass Archon. Oh boy. The Archons are a little exposed though. They get surrounded. Okay, gets 1, gets 2. And picks up 1 Archon. Not bad. Miscontrolled there by MasTeR to be split up. It's a very nice pickup for Erik. So he pulls away. Zealot run by towards the natural. Main army towards the right hand side. Zealots are getting into the mineral line once again, pushing in towards the main. Ooh, and Erik's being pulled apart. Yeah, it's being pulled apart here. Looks like the hatchery is forfeit. He cannot save the 4th. Baneling's trying to waddle in. Trying to. Oh, decent connections. Decent connections on the charge. That's not bad. And the hatchery is saved? Wait, what? Oh my god. It's on 11 HP. Barely survives. That should not have happened, but the hatchery does survive here. Erik, he's able to stabilize. Oh no! Yorku comes in. He wants it. The clutch transfuse keeps the hatchery alive. No shot. And with that, Erik, he now has momentum. He's got 4 base, I should say 3.5 base saturation. He's got his link main Hydra. Erik can start to push soon. MasTeR back at home is turtling up. Cannon, shield, by the way, MasTeR, he knows he has lost map control. He's just turtling up as best he can. Thankfully, Erik doesn't commit into an all-in. Erik throws down the Spire and Infestation, but we're getting ready for the mid to late game. We're teching up. Oh. Oracle goes down. Charge, let's do slip by. I'll be honest, I don't think Erik should be pushing into this. Storm is done. I mean, Erik doesn't know that. Now he does. Now he sees a little Templar, comes in from left hand side. Ooh, a brutal storm with the Ling Bane. Oh my god. Yeah, the storms are connecting. As Zelda coming from behind, they get into the mineral line, and Erik is being pulled apart. Again, Erik, he could not break this position. No shot. So he couldn't break it across the map. He's losing workers. And MasTeR's getting in hand. He's getting in hand. His snowballing guy control takes down the queens. 5 more drone kills. Slips into the main, getting another queen. Zelda pretty good. So you get 9 drone kills in total, and they get a full scout as well, confirming the hive, the spire, and the infestation pit. MasTeR knows. MasTeR, he knows, he's aware. Again, winding it back, when it comes to 10,000 feet, it is very difficult to break a turtling player on this map. We mentioned this before, and I guess we should now emphasize it here, but the bases are just really close together. You can see here, the natural, the 3rd base, the 4th base, it's all very centralized, so you can keep your army here in the center and then react and respond to any kind of area, to any angle of attack. So it's very easy to defend. And Erik, he does find out the hard way. Yeah, here comes a counterattack. MasTeR moving in. Losing one of the Archons. Does get sniped. Archon gets picked off. We have Mutas, which can't really help in the main fight. Another brutal storm. Oh, catching at the Mutas. He was crazy going into Muta from here. Ay, ay, ay. I mean, there is no blink, true. There are no blink stalkers. So Mutas they can harass, but they just went down. Trying to take up into lurker tech. We have lurker range on the way. We're still a ways away from lurkers. We're a ways away, papi. And MasTeR pushing on the left hand side. Yo, we got a 3 Muta harass. Let's go. Erik. Bienvenidos, Herlet. Bienvenidos, papi. Buenos días. Buenos días. Hope to see you in a future Kovajanska Bladam tournament. Hope to see. Yeah, Storm does zone away. Again, drone's going to be going down. Erik, he cannot quite engage. There's just so many storms. There's still, what, 3 storms left? There's still at least 3. Oh, going into the storms. There we go. Massive storms on the Hydras. Going to be zoning away. At the same time, Zelda busts into the middle line. 15 drones going down. Erik is being torn apart. Lurkers move in, and there is no detection. Oh, okay. No observer, no detection. Erik started stepping forward. So steps in. Nice focus firing. Gets 1, 2 Archons, a High Templar, and the Immortals as well. And does barely go Erik's way towards the end. Thanks to the lurkers. We need detection. Still, okay, there we go. Observers are moving out. Observers are coming across the map. That hatchery survives once again. Refuses to die. As MasTeR, he just ignores the lurker. Oh my god. Just takes a bunch of free damage. Calm down. Observers, they finally arrive. Fleet beacons all the way for Skytoss. I don't think we need Skytoss to break through, but sure. I mean, now there are too many lurkers. Oh my god. Yeah, MasTeR trying to brute force the issue here. Immortal goes down. Taking so much damage. Yeah, MasTeR a little bit stubborn. Takes a bad fight into all the lurkers. But Erik's economy, I mean, that's really what tells the story here. Erik is down to 68 workers. That's 3 base saturation. He barely has an economy. Lurkers are a little bit more spread out now. And MasTeR can take up. Rotating across, we have 6 more lurkers on the way. And that lurker it's getting a bit out of hand. And Erik, he might be able to hold and survive and defend. I mean, hey, the same thing applies as we mentioned previously, how you can hold on to 4 bases quite nicely here. But it's about the follow-up. It's about the sky toss. Oof. Yeah, lurkers, they do punish. Once again, lurker shots going up. MasTeR rotates, ensuring there's no backup expansion. Cells, they come in from behind. They have the mineral line. Oof, Jesus. Yeah, brutal move command. Yeah, brutal move command here. Zealots, they dive on top of the expansion. Do they kill the, do they get the hatchery? Up! Not quite, barely not. Ooh, 26 HP, very low, very close to going down. We have the transfuse. And MasTeR is being a little bit wasteful here, but it's fine. MasTeR is slowly building up his Tempest. Erik, he has no answer to that. He's going to mass Muta, and this has some potential. Oh no, the cloak. Yeah, cloak is activated. Mutas, they dive in the mothership. Mothership will go down. Still no blink, by the way. So Stalkers, they cannot keep up. And behind this, going to mass Muta. 6 more Mutas on the way. We're getting messy. And we do catch some key units here, but oh god, we're losing too many Mutas. Yeah, some hefty losses there for Erik. Have those defensive warpins. Erik bleeding out 10 Mutalisks. And lurkers are getting in position. Jesus, that's a very high amount of lurkers. We have how many? 19! Oh my god! MasTeR should not move into this. At least not with his immortals. We need more Tempest. Erik, he's maxing out. He is slowly maxing out. The issue here still is that Erik doesn't really have the best answer for all these Tempest. The Mutas are doing surprisingly well for themselves, but it's also quite expensive. Oh my god. Erik, he does move out. Jesus. Erik, he breaks out. Ooh, Muta's getting caught. And again, what's the answer to all these Tempest? Lurkers are moving in. And they can be oppressive against the ground army, but what about the sky? As Immortals are going down. More Lurkers pushing in. He gets into the expansion. Takes down the Nexus. At the same time, Mutas, they attempt to harass across the map. Hey, Erik, he gets a mineral line. Nexus goes down. 15 probes as well. This is nice damage. I'm still not convinced. How many Tempests do we have? 5. So it'd be 7. 7 Tempest. I mean, technically, we could try to go for like a Corruptor switch after this. I think that I would prefer. Oof. Yeah, so just chase down the Lurkers. Again, these Tempests should be able to get free damage. And Tempest shots going off. Okay, 1, 2, 3 Lurkers. And this is what you mentioned, like, what is the answer here to these Tempest? We're going to try to brute force it with the Hydras. Okay. He's going for it. No High Templar. No Storm. Wait, what? Okay, no Storm to punish. Erik, he's making this work. Somehow. MasTeR down to 43 probes. MasTeR cannot max out. No shot. We lodge in. Gets a Tempest. Gets 1. Yeah, 1 Tempest goes down. Lurkers, they boxed in the army. Getting a second Tempest. And MasTeR, he overextended. Yeah, he does overextend. Again, one too many times he pushed into all those lurkers. Likewise, wasn't attentive with the High Templar. And did rely too heavily on those Mass Immortals. In the end, it hurt him. Never got into Blink. Never really switched into Mass Phoenix. Never got a third Stargate. The Muta play was worth it. It was it was buying time. Forced a weird reaction. To Erik. A very messy game. Very messy. Wasn't clean whatsoever. Low economy for Erik the entire game. But he's doing it. Who needs spellcasters? Who needs vipers? Who needs infestors? I mean, apparently Erik, because he's making now vipers. That does help, to be fair. Will make things a lot easier. But again, MasTeR, he was in control of this game. Like, he was up like 50 supply. He was up in bases, workers, economy, tech. But again, he had a really weird response to the mutas. And one too many times he pushed into Mass Lurker. And he committed into Mass Immortal. Like, a stronger switch into Skytos would have benefited him so well. Referring to like a second, sorry, referring to a third or fourth Stargate. Reacting harder to the Mass Muta with Mass Phoenix. Playing more defensive, taking more bases. But in the end, he was torn apart. Punished for being overly aggressive, and again, not really respecting the mutas. And not taken to the skies. Deductions, catching out 2 Tempest. At this point, Erik, he's done. At this point, Erik, he's weathered the storm. Now, I say that there's still a good amount of storms left over, and if the fight goes a little bit too poorly, then maybe MasTeR can recover. But he's heavily reliant on these storms. So Erik's looking for a way in. For a way in. Army gets punished. Here comes the abductions, getting 1, getting 2 Tempest. Oof. Lurkers are going to be going down, so the ground army can try to hold its own here, but GG. GG gets called. MasTeR, he has nothing left, and Erik, he will take a lead in the series 2-1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Erik, he will take a lead. Again, MasTeR, he was in the driver's seat for the majority of this game. For the vast majority, MasTeR, he was looking dominant. He was containing his opponents, killing bases, killing workers, taking up, punishing Erik. But there was that first big push where Erik barely held on. He only had 3 lurkers, but remember, when it came to that big push, there was no observer. There was no detection. So MasTeR couldn't kill. He had the army to do so, but he had no detection to actually push into the lurkers. And by the time he did, we had built up to suddenly 9 lurkers and eventually 19 lurkers. We saw that MasTeR, he, as a reaction to this, he went into Mass Immortal, and he went for a very delayed switch into Skytos. And even when he was making his Tempest, it was a very slow transition into Tempest. He was still producing more and more Immortals. He was still very ground oriented. So the 19 lurker count of Erik actually worked wonders because MasTeR, he had forced himself into a very robo heavy composition instead of a bigger commitment into Skytos. So he went into Mass Immortal, committed to the grounds against Mass Lurker. GG, well played. Of course, there was more that came into that. Of course, when it came to the Muta play, for example, which I had no faith in, but the Mutas, hey, they pay for themselves. They caused a distraction. They gave Erik time to build up his army. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into our next game. Going to be loading into White Rabbit. Oh boy. Erik, he's one game away from claiming the series. MasTeR, he has to win here and now to force the ace match. Here we go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own, but what does he stand for? He stands for endurance, righteousness, intellect, and kangaroo. It is Erik. Going for the 12 pool. God damn it. And spawning in the bottom hand corner, we have the Brazilian Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Here we go. Here we go, as we are going to be settling in. Erik, he does move out with his drone. Remember, he's going for the 12 pool. He's going for the 12 pool, and he's sending out his drone to disrupt the wall here at the entrance to the natural. Ideally, to throw down that hatchery to mess up the opener, to try to increase surface area on these buildings, to commit with his Link Flood. Let's go. Meanwhile, MasTeR moves in with the Probe Scout. Does move in. MasTeR, he will confirm that the hatchery is missing, so already a big reaction here. MasTeR, he's now aware that aggression is coming his way. Drone is coming in. And the hashblock is upon us. And now MasTeR knows. I say that MasTeR, he's not aware of the pool timing, so that he's unfamiliar with. He does pull the boys. Zealot's on the way. This is better for Erik. Erik, he once lost mining time here, and mining time is being lost by MasTeR. Does go for the pylon block, but Erik, he's just flooding. Yeah, just flooding across the map. The initial Zealot will pop out. The Lings are almost here. But with all these boys, I don't really see that Zealot being surrounded. It's going to be close. Yeah, it's going to be close. There's a cancel. Lings, they threaten to surround. More reinforcements are on the way. Yeah, Lings, they threaten. Second Zealot will pop, and MasTeR's holding. And MasTeR, he will hold, he will defend. Erik is expanding back at home, he's droning. The game will continue. Now, with these reinforcements, Erik, he has potential to maybe find some damage here. He's at least keeping these probes busy. He's keeping them busy. Adept is now being chronoed. Erik, he has to get ready to defend. Spine Crawlers on the way. Queens are on the way. And MasTeR, he defends well. He defends well here. Now, he did lose mining time quite heavily here, but he still has a massive worker lead. Only 13 drones for Erik. Only 13. And the biggest issue here is that because of the 12 pool, link speed is heavily delayed. So here comes the Adepts, and the Adepts, they can wreak havoc. Adept moves out. Zealots, they stay back home. Do stay back. And it's going to be up to Erik to maintain his defense, to hold on here against the Adept. Does shade in. Shades into the main. Queen is out of position. Drone's going to be going down. How many? He gets one. He gets maybe two. Oh, just the one. Whew, okay. One drone goes down. That could have been a lot worse. Just catching up the one drone. MasTeR setting up back at home, going for Stargates, into Oracle Harassed, and the game from here will continue. It's been a very messy and a very shaky start. I will still give the edge to MasTeR. I'm sure his tech is delayed, that is true, and his saturation is later as well, but Erik's drone count is just very low. And he has no third. Link speed is on the way. Erik, he pulls out of gas. Not rushing into a lair. Not rushing in. we're settling in. We're settling in here as the Oracles. They move out to harass, they move out to scouts. So far, we do see Erik is still just droning. So just droning, he pulls back into gas, taking a second gas geyser for Lair. This should be filling Hydra. We could see Mutaplay, for example, but Erik is still stumbling his way into the mid game. Meanwhile, MasTeR back at home is saturating and taking up in towards Blink and +1, a standard follow-up out of MasTeR. He is still delayed because of the opener, but the follow-up in the overall build is standard. As long as they get this round, not bad. No battery, no defensive battery, gets 1, gets 2 Zelts. Nice catch here from Erik. Gets a probe. Doing what he can with what he has. So this is a nice moment. From here, Erik is getting his Evo chamber. Working towards +1. Lair is now on the way. Oh, and here comes the follow-up here. Remember, these are vanilla adepts. But they can trade very nicely against Ling Hydra, or against Ling Queen. How many Zerglings do we have? Only 4. Oh, soon to be 10. That is not enough. Yeah, we need more Zerglings. Only 3 Queens. Spinecrawler will help somewhat. But he shades in. Yeah, he dives into the main base. The Queens are under fire as well. 1 Queen is going to be hunted down. Assuming the Oracle commits. Decent stasis. Yeah, stasis goes off. Queen goes down. Drones are exposed. Oh, and this is getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. Oh no. 4 drone kills. 4 drones go down. The Oracles, they get the hell out of there. I do feel like we could have gotten a little bit more damage, and you can see he does want those drones, but it's too late. Yeah, too late. The drones to go back. The Adepts are still holding their own. They're still alive. Finally, they go down. That's 7. 7 drone kills, 7 drones, all those links as well. It was 26 lings, 1 queen. Very nice trade from MasTeR. Likewise, he pokes in. We could have seen maybe 2-3 drones going down at the third, but does pull away. Doesn't risk it. And behind this, MasTeR has a comfortable lead. He's now got Blink, he now has +1, and he has 3 base saturation. So here comes a follow-up now with Blink Stalkers, and this is going to be a very, very difficult defense for Erik. It's basically a 1-2 punch, right? MasTeR cripples Erik early on with the Adepts, and now he's here to end it with the Blink Stalkers. And Erik just doesn't really have the economy to build up an army. Erik, he's got Lings. He has 28 Zerglings. That's what the Oracles are for. Speaking of, Oracles activated. Chasing down the Queen. Zoning away the Zerglings, and the hatchery is going to go down. It does catch the 4th. With good enough blink control, these Stalkers should not go down. Even diving on the Hydras, oh my god. He goes to the dive. Catching up more Hydras, catching up more Zerglings, and MasTeR does give chase. Ooh, a little bit messy here for MasTeR, bleeding out some Stalkers. Yeah, 3 full Stalkers going down, very messy. We're getting messy here. Oh, and Erik, he's going to be able to hold on. Erik holds. Again, we could have just killed the base. MasTeR could have just killed the expansion and wedged himself behind the mineral line, but he got greedy here. The hatchery survives. He tried to chase down the Hydras, but he got punished. In the end, MasTeR did get punished. So we have it back and forth. Erik is building up his Hydras. MasTeR still has the edge. Yeah, Sling's a thread and a dive. MasTeR's moving out. And again, Erik's just posturing. Just posturing. This is just keeping MasTeR busy. It's not about taking the fight. Oof. But Erik's going to be chased down. Yeah, he's going to be chased down here. Ay. He didn't want to take this fight, Pap. You don't like this. Lings go down. Hydras as well. And MasTeR's looking to force the ace match. We're going to bring us all the way to game 5. As there is no standing army. Back at home, Erik, he's somewhat droning up to 67. We have a Spire on the way. That's ambitious. That's bold. I don't really see Erik surviving long enough to make use of the Spire, but he's got on the way. It's coming, Pat. It's coming. MasTeR breaks out across the map. Blinks on forward. Crazy blink, by the way. Blinks into the Zerglings, but takes out the expansion. And takes out the hatchery. Started stepping forward. Pushing into the bases. And they're going to try to make his final stand here. It does take care of all the Zerglings, or all the Zealots. We have more Zealots coming in, more Archons as well. And now there's no buffer. Now the Hydras are exposed. They're so vulnerable. Spinecrawler moves in from the start of the game. And with that, Erik, he has been broken. These Hydras are going down one after the other. MasTeR pushing further in. Catching up more Hydras. And again, Erik, he just can't build them up. He just cannot build them up. He cannot reach critical mass. Not like this. Yeah, boys are being pulled. It was a very messy start to the game, but in the end, MasTeR came out ahead. I'm referring to the 12 pull. Like, the 12 pull was not worth it. Erik had a very shaky follow-up. And that's going to be 24 drone kills. The final Hydra's going down. Duh. And now we're huffing a little bit of copium back. True, true. As Lings are trickling in, Hydras are trickling in. I mean, this army does trade well against Stalkers, that is true. Erik, he will force a recall, but Erik, he is down to 36 drones. He's down to under 2 base saturation. Under a 2 base economy. Oh god. MasTeR panicking a little bit. But again, MasTeR just has to chill. Just chill, calm down, get his 4th base, tech up in towards Storm, Archons, High Templar, more Warpins. Just gotta calm down, papi. Even getting a 5th? Okay. Sure, why not? I do think that MasTeR's being a little bit overly aggressive here. He's gonna be careful. Yeah, at least able for this round. Oh no, the High Templar! He gets every single one. As I mentioned, MasTeR is being overly aggressive. He should not be here. Bleeds out, what was that, 6 High Templar? Like, that was an amazing fight for Erik, by the way, but it's still not enough. Again, MasTeR just has to calm down. Even this push, I'm not entirely convinced by. It's 2 Archons, a handful of Stalkers. It might still be enough anyway. Yeah, 3 Archons. Takes down top left. Catching the expansion at the same time they do come in for the counterattack. But this time they're Blink Stalkers. Yeah, the Stalkers, they have Blink. MasTeR turns around. Erik, he's stuck on 2 bases. Again, basically a 1 base economy. As he's running out of resources. No, we get stuck. It's fine. And again, the one thing that's keeping Erik in this game is that MasTER's been very impatient. It's been very, very impatient. You could argue that, I mean, that's also like the killer instinct. There we go. GG gets called, and MasTER ties up the series. We are going to the ace match. Whew, GG. GG, well played. We're going all the way to game number 5. Again, we have that back and forth, winding it back. This all came down to the attempted 12 pull from Erik. He went for the 12 pull, went for the hatch block as well. And Erik, he, as the dust settled, he was still down in economy. Like, he did not do enough damage to justify the 12 pull, so he fell behind economically. And then we had the adept follow-up as well, where Erik was being punished for lacking that tech, for lacking that economy, for having the shaky opener. He was being punished time and time again by the adept aggression, and then by the follow-up Stalker aggression as well, and the Oracles as well. It just got out of hand, killing workers that Erik couldn't afford to lose, and knocking down bases that he couldn't afford to lose either. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the ace match. We're going to be loading into game number 5, and we'll see how our play, or we'll see how the story ends. We'll see who's going to be our champion for Code for Dance Cup number 28. Will it be our Erik? Will it be MasTER? Let's go. Let us go. As we are loading into the Old Republic. And spawning in the bottom hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the Brazilian Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing the CranKy Ducklings. He's one of our own. It's Erik. It is Erik. And spawning in the top right hand corner, we have the red Protoss player, the red Protoss player himself. We have the Brazilian Protoss representing Team Hellfire. It is MasTeR. Let's go. And we have that back and forth. We have that ace match. Again, both Erik and MasTeR, they are the respective best players of their respective race in Brazil. Erik being the best Zerg player and MasTeR being the best Protoss player as well. So they are no strangers to each other when it comes to facing off in these finals. It's often Erik, MasTeR, and Inexorable who kind of fight for the top two. I say that. I will say that Kamikaze has been improving as of late and has even been getting better results than Inexorable. I haven't seen those games though, so I can't really speak too much on Kamikaze's play outside of the fact that he has been improving, and we do take note of that. Meanwhile, once again, Hatchblock, this time no 12 pool. So this is much more sensible. There's a macro opener out of Erik. Drone moves out, threatens the hatchery. Back at home, he did expand. And there it is. There's that block. Now, this is a lot less committed, and this is allowing Erik to have a much cleaner early game here. It will disrupt the economy. He will force a reaction. We have a second gateway on the way. Boys are being pulled as well. You can see we have 4 probes off the mineral line. And eventually this will be cancelled. And what is this achieving? Well, this is forcing out a second gateway. It's delaying the cyber core. It's delaying the expansion, the Nexus, and delaying the tech as well, delaying the Stargate. So everything's going to be delayed here for MasTeR, but MasTeR will have 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts, right? MasTeR, he will have an army to work with to move out for a counterattack very early on. Ooh, he supplied. Yeah, that supply block shouldn't have happened, so a little bit delayed here, a little bit disrupted, but overall this counterattack is going to hit like a truck, and Erik has to be ready back at home with Lings, Queens, and maybe even a Spine Crawler. There's a cancellation. Again, there's that second Zealot, and there's a first Adept, and we're waiting for one more Adept. So again, it's going to be 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts. Now, because of Erik's build of choice, his queen count is very low. There's the Queen's Village just now began. Queens are on the way. Later gas, later link speed. Second gas this early? Hello. Huh. Okay, there we go. Now we have the. I was very confused and perplexed by the second gas, guys. But there we go. It's cancelled. Lings are amassing for Erik. No Spine Crawler, just going to be a mass Ling Queen defense. And Erik, he should minimize losses, but we'll see. Doesn't look like a lot, but this early on, double Adept, double Zealot can hit quite hard. And all these Lings mean that Erik isn't able to drone. Unable to drone up. And Lings, they engage, Adepts, and make their way into the mineral line. He just shade in. Yeah, Shades. Oh, Lings are ready though. Lings are in position, catching out on Adept immediately. Despite that, 3 drones go down. Adept is going to be cornered, and in the end, is cleaned up. This could have been a lot worse. Only 3 drone kills. I mean, MasTeR does trade at least, and MasTeR does take a worker lead, but Erik holds. Behind this, link speed is on the way, and for the most part, Erik pulls out. He leaves 1 in gas. This would be, I would imagine, for eventually Lair Tech or for eventually Evo Chamber for +1. But no crazy commitments, and Erik is expanding. Even going for the hatchery in the main. Wait, what? I missed that. My apologies. He's getting a hatchery inside of the main, and there's no boy pool. Oh, yeah, no reaction by MasTeR. The hatchery finishes. We can start link production inside of the main. Right now we're waiting for Larva. Larva is amassing. And Erik, he isn't making use of this yet. There we go. We have 6 Lings on the way. And 6 Zerglings. So far, decent Sim City. Pylons, battery as well. Yep, Erik does cancel. I mean, he did force a battery, true. He did force extra buildings. As Erik behind this is just droning. He's just droning, just saturating. Erik should be expanding. Voidery is revealed. As Erik, he does make another pair of lings. Hitting the natural. And what's a probe? He gets one. Yeah, probe's gonna be going down. Gets another. Ooh. This is getting out of hand here. Getting to 4, getting to 5 probes. Oh my god. Yeah, 5 probes go down. One of them was attempted expansion. Speaking of, a backup worker does move back in. And finally, MasTeR. Ooh, he still cannot expand. Erik, he wants that probe. He gets it. 6 probe kills. Yeah, more lings, more fin. Catching out. Ooh, another probe. 7 probes go down. Still no third expansion. Behind this, we're taking up layers on the way. Evo chambers on the way. Baneliness as well. Erik, he wants another probe. No, this time he cannot get it. Yeah, this time the battery's in position. That is still 7 workers going down and a massive delay on the expansion. Insane delay. And this hatchery was worth it. This hatchery in the end was worth it. Erik now has a massive worker lead for the first time in a couple of games, to be honest. Like on 10,000 feet on the previous map as well. Like there was just no stronger economy for Erik, none whatsoever. White Rabbit, that's it. But Erik, he has it. Crazy. For the first time. Now working towards leading main Hydra. Meanwhile, MasTeR is taking up in a standard direction, going into +1, a blink, and a storm. But again, MasTeR, his build overall and his tech is going to be disrupted. It's going to be delayed. As there's still no expansion. Oracle does hit the natural. Spires on the way. We've seen a lot of Spire play out of Erik this series, and I want to say that we don't really need it here, but sure, it's it has potential. But at the same time, like, I have faith in just purely laying Hydra or laying main Hydra into lurker attack. Here we go. Erik moves out. Hydra's just slithering across the map. They get spotted by the observer. MasTeR knows. Back at home, he's getting ready. We have stasis traps, shield batteries, cannons are on the way as well. Storm, I believe, is done. No, my apologies. Storm has not started. Bay is on the way after the Temple Archives. This might be a mistake in the sense that MasTeR, hopefully he realizes that he does not have Storm. Erik, he rotates in. And this is just a distraction. Yeah, you can see Erik, he's banking. He's banking up 1,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. He's going to a mass muta switch. He's switching to mass muta. Now MasTeR is getting a safety Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix is on the way. He has Mass Blink Stalker as well. I mentioned earlier that mutas are nice and all, but I would say a little bit unnecessary. Instead of taking up into lurkers, it's a big risk, a big gamble, it's a massive investment, and we'll see if it pays off. Side defense is being turned down. Yeah, MasTeR, he's ready for this. As they pick in, they will take down the cannon. Cannon goes down. Phoenixes, they respond. Oof, we'll lose one. and mutas are deflected. And again, so far this has not been worth it. This was a massive investment, and you can see that Erik, he's doubling down. We got 6 more mutas on the way. Building on more mutas. Threatening a dive. Remember, there's no. Oh, sorry, Storm is now done. Storm was researched. Yeah, MasTeR diving on the Phoenixes. Thankfully, there was no second Stargate. Like, there was no double Stargate Phoenix, so the Phoenix count is still quite low. Still quite low. We have Corruptors now on the way. Okay, sure. Building up Corruptors. The goal there is to tank the Phoenixes. There are 4 Phoenixes so far. I get a very low Phoenix count. So this MasTeR might still overwhelm. He dives in, gets 1. Oof. Archon's now morphing in. Mutas, they push back forward. Once again, there just aren't enough mutas here. Yeah, we're bleeding out too much. So many mutas going to be going down. The mutas have not been worth it. Okay, center expansion goes down. Bailing around way into the mineral line. 9 probes. And again, we need more mutas. Oh no. Yeah, he commits to the fight. So many mutas go down. The Mass-Wing Stalker does overwhelm. And soon MasTeR can just counterattack. Soon he can just push. And I don't see Erik stopping him. Not like this. Not like this. Erik's best chance is going to be for the base trade. True. Lings, they hit the 3rd. Lings, they hit the 4th base. And we commit. We commit to the base trade. Now, Ling Muta is a fast army. That is true, but it's also very fragile. It's very fragile. And we're bleeding out a lot of Lings already. MasTeR commits to the base trade. Pushing into more bases. And remember, MasTeR can always recall. He can always recall back home. It doesn't even need to. We have a solid wall. Like, the natural cannot be broken. And Erik, he's racing back home. He's racing back. Oh. What are we catching? Oof. Massive Storm. Does run past. Gets 1, 2, 3 High Templar. Catching out a good chunk of army. Okay. Erik, he lured the army into the open. Okay, lured him out. But there's still so many Stalkers. There's a recall. Yeah, there's a recall back home. Again, it's so difficult to base trade a Protoss when they can recall like this. So recalls back. He was able to cripple the economy and take down bases. Now, what I will say is that he took down bases, but bottom right is untouched. Bottom right and center left. Checking MasTeR's vision, he didn't know. Like, he didn't scout. He's not aware of these 2 bases. So Erik can actually keep building up. He can actually replace his losses. He can replenish his army. Erik is still very much so in this, and MasTeR's economy's in the gutter. He lost his 4th base, he lost his mineral line. In the end, Erik did come out ahead in the base trade. Came out ahead. Only because of how little MasTeR killed. And now we have how many mutas? 25! Okay. 25 mutas. Actually trading with the Stalkers and trading well. Takes out what? 5, 6, what? 10 mutas? Sorry, 10 Stalkers. 17! 17 Stalkers go down. And the MasTeR, he's doing it. GG gets called. Erik, he does pull it off. The MasTeR, they do snowball out of control, and Erik, he will claim the series 3-2, becoming the Kofajans Cup number 29 champion. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, MasTeR's main army was terrifying, and the base trade was the best call. It was the best call to make there for Erik. I will say that Erik was struggling. Erik was having a very hard time coming into the mid game. His meter play was not worth it. He was falling behind. Erik was dying, Pappy was dying, but we ended up forcing a base trade, and that was the best chance that Erik had to win that game. That was his best chance. As we saw, Erik, he could not actually break the natural though. Erik, he killed the 4th, he killed the 3rd, but he could not break the natural. You could argue that MasTeR didn't have to recall there. MasTeR, he knocked down 1 expansion, he could have kept going. Like, Erik could not fight the main army of MasTeR. Couldn't do it. So MasTeR, he knocked down 1 expansion, and then he recalled. We could have kept going, but one of the reasons why he had to recall, if you remember, was that MasTeR was overconfident and he overextended. I'm referring to his defensive army. Remember, he had his defensive army with cannons and shield barriers at the natural, but he got lured out into the open, right? Erik turned back around, and then MasTeR chased him out onto the map. Then he got surrounded. That's when he lost his High Templar. He lost 3 High Templar, he lost his Zealots, he lost a bunch of Stalkers, and then that's when MasTeR was forced to recall to have that defense happen, and that means Erik got away with the economy. He got away with an economy, had 2 full expansions, mining freely. GG. GG, well played. Not an easy game, not an easy series, very close, very clutch, very intense, but congratulations to Erik for becoming our champion. GG, well played. Never a dull moment with Erik, never a dull moment. Shaking my head. But very chaotic, very intense. With that, GG, well played. With that, Erik is going to be our Code for Giants Cup champion. But up next, we're going to be jumping into a different tournament, also Code for Giants Cup. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Cosmos. Cosmos, he is the main caster of Code for Giants Cup, and he does organize the event. I should emphasize that as well. But he is like the Brazilian caster in StarCraft. Este Cosmos does a lot for the scene, does a lot for StarCraft. And up next, we're going to be jumping into Code for Giants Cup LATAM, the Latino America, Pappy. True. We're going to be cutting to a short break. We need a moment to set up, and when we come back, we will have our next matches. It is going to be Code for Giants Cup LATAM number 6. We're going to be opening up the tournament for the entirety of Latino America, and that means we're going to be featuring players like Tavito and players like Juanito as well. Este special, este Tavo. We'll see you soon after the break. See you soon, Pappy. See you soon.